Hey, this is Evan Marquez, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women, your personal trainer for love. I'm excited to be back here on the Love You podcast. I got more stories to tell. Life gets better every day, and I get more and more excited about the work that I'm doing every day. I was on a downswing this summer. Now I'm on an upswing. I hope you are here for the ride. Listenership has been going up, so that's been really, really nice. Thank you for your comments and for sharing. And before we get started, we're going to be talking about something that's really important. I even hinted at it in the last podcast. And this is about how to break up with someone. How to break up with him for good, especially at a certain point in a relationship where you're at a crossroads. I'm going to be speaking very specifically about a relationship that's not really a relationship. This is not how to break up with a guy after 2 years, although the overlap between the two speeches you'll give them is actually relatively similar. This is very specifically when a relationship you're in is not escalating. How do you cut him loose? So you're going to want to stick around for the whole thing. Before we get started, this is stuff that I was workshopping in my Love You group coaching program. If you find the kind of stuff that we talk about here interesting, we do this for 90 minutes to 2 hours every single week, where you can ask questions and we give answers, and you're part of a group and you're really immersing yourself in this so you could be fluent in how to navigate dating and relationships all by yourself. If you have not gone there before, I really encourage you to go to evanmarkcatz.com/now, where you can fill out a short application to talk to me about the right coaching package for you. So here's what we're talking about the other night. We're talking about the idea that there should be a smooth on-ramp to a relationship. And if there's not a smooth on-ramp to the relationship, there's probably not going to be a smooth relationship. What does that mean? Well, listen, everybody's busy. Everybody's texting. Everybody's got work stuff and obligations. That's understandable. And people are flakier than ever. And people have more choices than ever. And so we're going to get all the bad stuff out of the way. But you also know what it's like to be treated well by a guy. You know what it's like to be properly courted by a guy. You know what it's like when a guy is really into you. What are you doing tonight? What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing this weekend? When can I see you again? He texts, he calls, I'm thinking of you, right? He's the one who's pushing the relationship forward. Now, sometimes there's guys who do that you don't like, but still, that's a snapshot of what it's like when a guy likes you and is into you. He makes an effort for you. As we say in Love You, it doesn't matter what happens on the date, only what happens in between the dates. How quickly does he follow up to procure the next date? How quickly does he escalate to wanting to become your boyfriend? So that's the kind of behavior we're looking for. And too often women give men tons of excuses as to why it's okay that they don't do this. Some form of he's busy, I'm busy. But then what happens? You find yourself in a situation where you're not really content with the status quo. You might be seeing the guy for 3 months, but you've only gotten together with him 4 times. If I'm a betting man, a guy you've only seen 4 times in 3 months isn't in any position to be your boyfriend, doesn't want to be your boyfriend. Doesn't matter how great the connection is, doesn't matter how much he talks about how much he likes you, doesn't matter if you had amazing sex on the 3rd date. All that matters is it's 3 months in, you've seen him 4 times. That's not a good sign. Relationships have faster and smoother on-ramps. We usually talk about the initial relationship on-ramp as 4 to 6 weeks approximately. Sometimes guys are really excited about you and want to commit sooner. You want to slow those guys down. Sometimes guys need a little bit longer to kick the tires, or maybe there's circumstances, you're driving your kid to college, he's got a business trip that extends 4 to 6 weeks a little bit longer. But we're still talking about at a certain point a guy should want to commit to you. So this is a story of a client of mine who was seeing a guy over the summer. They went out 9 times, right, which is a decent amount of times. They started sleeping together on the 6th date or so, which is not bad or abnormal or anything, but she did start sleeping with him without any idea of commitment. It was just the thing that felt good at the time with the guy that she really liked. So now they've got a whole summer together, 9 dates, sleeping together. And due to our coaching, I would say I take credit, but didn't listen to the part of coaching where I said don't sleep with someone who's not your boyfriend. But nonetheless, now we're in the situation where she's seeing a guy and she wants to get answers. What are we? Where is this going? And so she asks in a very sort of non-confrontational, but not terribly confident way either. So what is this? And he gives the answer that I expected. What do you mean, what is this? Isn't what we have good? And she says, yeah, it's good. And he's like, we're seeing each other. We see each other once a week. And, we're going away. He already planned a vacation, so we're going away in next month. So I don't feel like we need to move any faster than that. I don't see why we need to put labels on this. And she kind of like nodded and agreed and kind of went with it and came back to me and she said, what do you think? I said, I don't know. What do you think? Are you content with that response? And she said, well, he does like me. He is taking me away. We do have a lot of fun together. I said, but are you content with the relationship? Did you get the answer you wanted? And she said, no, I see him once a week. And like it's been once a week for pretty much the entire summer, apart the time that we were away. So I said, okay. So if he's seeing you once a week, what does it tell you? And she said, I don't know. I said, it tells me that he wants to see you once a week. This is the relationship he wants. It's not the relationship you want. It is the relationship he wants. This is perfect for him. So he gets to see someone once a week who's excited to see him, who gives him the full girlfriend treatment, right? And he doesn't have to really do much in between the dates, as long as he's consistent with the once a week thing, and as long as he treats you well, and as long as he pays for a vacation in the future. So he's become the CEO, you've become the intern, and you've agreed to these terms. These terms are, you don't have a commitment, you don't have a boyfriend, you don't get more than once a week. These are my terms. And she goes, well, I never really told him that I want to see him more than once a week. That was her defense. I said, well, if he wanted to see you more than once a week, wouldn't he reach out to see you more than once a week? This is what he wants. You're ignoring that. You're thinking you have to tell him to do it. If he wanted more, if he wanted to see you more than once a week, he would. If he wanted to be your boyfriend and take his profile down and call himself your boyfriend, that he's your boyfriend, and introduce you to his friends as your girlfriend, as his girlfriend, he would already be doing that. He's a man. He doesn't need to be talked into it or tricked into it. So he's already shown you this is the relationship he wants. So you have to decide, do you want this relationship? And she says, no, I want more than once a week. I want to build a relationship that has the potential to go somewhere in the future. I said, so evidently this guy isn't the right guy for you, but I really like him. And so then we started to role play. Okay, well, let's have this conversation with him, because I really feel like you can't continue like this. If you continue like this and you keep on seeing him in this situationship, again, a word that's I hate, but I kind of have to use because that's what it is. If you keep on doing this, Thanksgiving can roll around and you could be seeing him for 5 months, right? And still have no idea if he's your boyfriend or whether you're going to go to his place, his family, or he's going to come to your family. You're going to have no clue and you're going to have no leverage, right? And that's the path you're on, is just to play it cool, give him what he wants, don't put any pressure on him. This is exactly what we talked about in the last podcast. So I said, you need to have a conversation with him. So she gives me her version of the conversation. Hey, John, I've been thinking about us, and I really like our relationship and what we have, but I kind of want to see you more than once a week. And, right now you don't seem to want to do that, but I kind of do. Are you open to doing that? You said you're open to having a relationship one day, but you didn't really say when that was. And so I just don't feel really secure here. And it was perfectly fair. But what it wasn't was a speech from a CEO who was firing the intern. She was really trying to negotiate a better position for herself. She was trying to convince him that he wanted more, instead of paying attention to the fact that he actually doesn't want more, and acknowledging that fact, just putting it on the table. So my version of the speech, which I'm going to give to you very briefly here today, was not a negotiation to convince this guy that he should commit to her or see her more. It was an acknowledgement of the fact that he doesn't want to. So it's more, hey, John, I've really enjoyed our relationship. You're a great guy. I've enjoyed our time together. But based on what we talked about in our last conversation and what I've observed, you said eventually you might want a relationship, but it's too early to talk about that. After 2 months together, after 9 dates, after sleeping together, we both have enough information to figure out if we want to give this a shot, right? No guarantee. I'm not signing on a dotted line for a future. I'm not, you're not. There's no pressure. But we both have enough information to give this relationship a shot. And if you don't want to give this relationship a shot, and you, after all this time, and this is what you want, is this once a week relationship, I'm afraid I'm not the person for you. So you're a great guy. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you find what you're looking for. I have no doubt you'll find someone who's happy with the once a week thing and being taken on vacation. But I'm really looking to build something. So this is over. Please don't contact me anymore. I need to heal and be able to move on. Thank you so much for your time. All right. That's the speech. And for someone that feels really harsh, wait, you're letting him go? I mean, you're not giving him a chance to rise to the occasion? No, he had the chance. He doesn't want to rise to the occasion. Here's what happens when you give the speech that I just gave. 99% of the time, the guy says, you know what, you're right. You're a great woman. You deserve more. I'm not in the place where I want that level of commitment or involvement or entanglement. I don't want to devote that kind of time. So you're right. You should find someone who can give you the relationship you want, and I wish you the best of luck at that. That's 99%. You're calling him on his stuff that you've already observed. 1% of the time, he's like, oh my God, how could you break up with me? I thought this was going somewhere. I didn't realize that you were so serious about commitment. I also want commitment. I'm glad to see you more. I just didn't want to smother you. So yes, I'm your boyfriend. Let's do this. Let's give this thing a shot. The whole point is having the conversation gets you the answer. Whatever he's thinking, his mind's already made up. He either wants to be your boyfriend or he doesn't want to be your boyfriend. So how much time do you want to sink into a relationship with a guy who doesn't want to be your boyfriend? Do you want to sink 5 months into a relationship with a guy who doesn't want to be your boyfriend? A guy whose ideal relationship is just literally seeing you once a week and keeping it there? Right? I don't think you need to invest that kind of time. I don't think you need to fall in love and catch feelings. I don't think you need to put yourself in that position at all. Right? So the women's biggest takeaway from this was that you need to have the courage to set boundaries, to speak your mind, to realize that your needs of taking down your profile, getting the title of girlfriend, and seeing someone more than once a week are not unreasonable at all. If a guy finds it unreasonable after he's already spent 2 months with you, after you're already sleeping together, and he still pushes back on the label and the title and, hey, we're headed in this direction together, it shouldn't be that difficult to cut him loose, because otherwise all you're doing is doubling down on a mistake. You're wasting time on someone. You're putting money into a bank account that you could never withdraw from. Right? You deserve better than that. Right? So there's nothing wrong with having these needs. There's nothing wrong with setting these boundaries, and there's nothing wrong with letting a guy go, knowing that every second you're with him is a second you're not out looking for a guy who really does want the job, who does want to commit, who does want to see you more, who will make the effort, who won't leave you guessing, who won't have to goad you into this difficult conversation after 9 weeks because he already wanted the job after 3. That is what you're looking for in a man. He's going to be begging for it, right? And you are the gatekeeper, not him. You're the gatekeeper to commitment. Don't forget that. My name is Evan Mark Katz. I'm a dating coach for smart, strong, successful women. I show you how to be the most confident version of yourself and bring that person who we see with her friends and her family and her workplace and bring that into your love life. If that's been a struggle for you, please go to evanmarkkatz.com/now. Apply for coaching. We'll talk on the phone, you and me. We'll get to know each other and we'll figure out the right coaching fit for you. I love you. I appreciate you. And if you enjoy the Love You podcast, please subscribe on Apple and Spotify. Get notified when new content comes out on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Leave us a review. Tell a friend. All the things. I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for being a part of this. And I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye.